in my experience in being around BI every day for the last year plus, year and a half, whatever you want to call it, he's a worker. He just enjoys the game and he enjoys the work that it takes to be great. We don't talk about this in the interview, but you know, him and I had numerous conversations. Like, I think he's at some point in the next couple of years, he's a top 10 player. His response to me when I told him that the first time, nah, I want to be the best. Like, that's where his standard is.
Yeah.
It's in working to become the best. Yeah.
He could be there. His game is ridiculous. I mean, we saw this. We're going to talk about your guys' first two games, but he almost had a triple-double in the Toronto game. And then in the Miami game on Christmas, I mean, he was hitting some ridiculous shots at all angles, not just everything. He sort of got the whole package.
I think in the first game you saw his ability to be a playmaker, his ability to pick and choose when it's time to score, when it's time to facilitate. I really believe this. I think that he could be that on a nightly basis. I think 24, 11, and 9 could be what he averages one season. I really mean that. I mean, that's the type of talent that I think he is. And then you saw against Miami, against a strong side defense that requires a physical strong side defense that requires expert level bucket getting and shot making. His ability to do that at an extremely high level and still be efficient. He's a remarkable offensive talent.
What were some of your other takeaways from the first two?
I think we have a chance to be really good, man. I'm excited about our team and where our team's at. Look, this is not a secret. I've said this publicly. I don't love playing on Christmas, and playing on Christmas at noon. When you got to get up at 7 a.m. to go do your COVID testing so that you can actually go on the bus and go to the arena. It was an interesting Christmas morning, to say the least. I will say I'm well aware that we're very fortunate to get to play this game, and I understand how important it is to play on Christmas for the league and for the business and all that stuff. And it's certainly an honor to be on a team that gets chosen to play on Christmas. But I'm just being real. Like, I'd rather wake up with my kids in the morning and watch them open presents. I think most parents would rather do that.
You did set a record though yesterday, which was broken in about 2 hours. But you had a 2-hour window where you had the most 3-pointers made on Christmas Day in NBA history.
I didn't even know that I was tied for the most. If I had known that, I would have hoisted at least 4 or 5 more, so I could have had the record for at least 3 hours instead of 2. Jeez.
It sucked.
Somebody from our communications department really needs to tip.
It sucked because you had it, and then Duncan went off, and he tied the record with BI actually for most in an individual game, and then that was broken like in the next game. And so it's like just these records are made to be broken.
They all are.
People kept asking on Twitter yesterday how we were going to respond to our correspondent going off in that game, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, have you watched the guy play? Like, nothing about that was surprising.
No,
he's a killer.
He shot 13 threes. Like,
and
they were good looks. Like, he's a monster. He's a monster. Like, he works so hard to get clean looks. They run great stuff for him. They always know, like, if you make a mistake, they know exactly where he is on the court. Yeah. It's very similar to the way the Warriors play with Steph and Clay. Like, Draymond knows where those guys are at all times. And so if you make a mistake, if you're off the body, if it's an offensive rebound, if it's a loose ball, that team, Miami, knows exactly where Duncan is, and they find him. And it makes you bet. He's one of the best, if not the best shooter in the NBA.
Yeah, we should say we are working on something with Duncan right now, which we're not going to tell you at the moment. But there's a reason why he's not on the show today. And you guys will see this in a little bit, but it's very exciting.
Yeah, we got some exciting stuff coming up with Duncan, for sure.
Please. I have a question for you about Tampa.
Sure.
So you played the Raptors in Tampa. There were fans there.
Lots of fans.
What was that experience? What was the fan experience like? And then also, what was the Tampa what was that whole like in court basketball experience like? Because that's obviously a unique situation.
Yeah, so we have a small number of fans at our games here in New Orleans. So for our first game, our first preseason game against Milwaukee, I guess our only preseason game against Milwaukee, we had, I think, 750 fans. They capped it at that. So in a 20,000, 18,000 seat arena, you can socially distance quite a bit. I think Tampa's capacity was at 25%. It's the Lightning's hockey arena, and it felt like you were playing. Honestly, it felt like you're playing a game in Detroit.
I was wondering what city was just going to take the brunt of that, because I know you were not. I know you were going to pick one.
Oh man!
So this
nothing
is
against Detroit. Arn, tell them I love you. I love you. I love you.
It's interesting that the one game on Wednesday night that had fans in the arenas, and I know a couple of other teams are going to have fans in their arenas this year, but the one game on Wednesday night that had it was Tampa, considering they are not a actual NBA fan base.
It is very odd, but as we know, Florida is going to Florida.
Yeah, that is true. And
it was a little weird. We were all talking about it after the game. We come out for warmups. There's fans in the game. It was like, whoa, and then you juxtapose that against Miami. We come out and it's just black Miami Heat culture tarps over the seats. And they're basically only production people, and they're at like suite level for ABC and ESPN. Completely empty, completely quiet gym. During the national anthem in Tampa, these people were not wearing masks inside the arena. Not everybody, but there were a handful of people that just were maskless in the arena. I'm like, what are we doing here, man?
Kind of counterproductive for this whole thing. You're like,
what are we doing here?
One basketball thing, you know who looks awesome for you guys is Steven.
Yeah.
He's just like so fun to watch.
Yeah, no, he's got such a great feel for the game, and he's smart, man. I didn't realize, well, I guess I realized it to a degree watching him a bunch in OKC, but in playing with him for the last month, he's a really good playmaker. Like, he's got a good feel for the game, for hitting cutters, for doing uphill DHOs. There was even a play in Tampa in the first half. I ran the wing like 3 times in transition and didn't get the ball 2 of the times. It was open for a 3. We ended up turning it over in those 2 plays. The third time it happened, Steven gets a loose ball, dribbles it up, and like in rhythm pitches me the ball. I hit the 3. Like, that's for a 7-foot guy, that's good feel.